When I was a young student volunteering at a nursing home in Southern California, there was one thing that I could never forget. The healthiest and most vibrant elderly people I met all had one thing in common. They maintained an active daily routine. I remember Mr. Thomas, who is now 87 years old, still starts his day by watering the garden, cycling around the neighborhood, and then video calling his grandson in New York. Once I asked him, "What's your secret?" He just smiled. "Look around you. The secret lies in the small things we do repeatedly every day." So, what truly determines whether you will live healthily and long, or face fatigue and illness in your later years? The answer does not lie in luck. It lies in very clear signs, the early signals that can tell you whether you are on the right track or need to make changes. In today's video, you will join me in exploring 8 silent yet powerful signs that indicate you have the potential to live a long life after 70. And the wonderful thing is, you can completely improve each of these signs starting from today. Stay tuned until the end of the video, as you might be missing out on seemingly small things that have a significant impact on your quality of life in the years to come. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to share with us, where are you watching this video from? And what health topics would you like us to explore in future videos? Thank you for being here today. As a small gift, we are giving away 100 copies of the ebook Living Long While Staying Healthy by Clara Jennings, a senior healthcare expert with over 40 years of experience. To receive the book, you just need to click the subscribe button and leave a comment explaining why you want to read this book. Sign 1. Maintaining balance. When I worked at a rehabilitation center for the elderly in Portland, I witnessed something quite remarkable. 83-year-old Mrs. Helen stood on one foot for 15 seconds every morning while making tea. No one prompted her, no one asked. It had been her routine for over 20 years. One day I asked, "Why do you do that?" She smiled brightly and replied, "To check if my body is still really alive." Did you know that the ability to maintain balance is one of the strongest predictors of longevity after the age of 70? There's no need for complex tests. Simply standing on one foot for about 10 seconds without wobbling can reveal a lot about your health. Why is that? Because when you can maintain balance, it means that 3 key systems in your body are still functioning harmoniously. Muscles, the nervous system, and the brain. They work together to prevent you from falling or staggering when standing up, walking, or turning around. Conversely, if you notice that you frequently lose balance, often need to hold onto objects while changing clothes, or feel unsure when turning your head quickly, these could be early warning signs that you are losing this important coordination. And more importantly, this could set off a chain of risks. Falls, injuries, loss of independence, and reduced lifespan. I want you to try it right now, right where you are sitting watching this video. Stand up, gently lift one leg off the ground, and hold it for 10 seconds. No need to be too serious, but pay attention to how it feels. Do you feel wobbly? Do you have to quickly put your foot down? Don't worry if you can't do it yet. What's important is not where you are, but that you are ready to start from somewhere. And the good news is, balance can improve, bit by bit, every day. You can try standing on one foot while brushing your teeth, walking heel to toe down the hallway, or if you want something more fun, try joining a local Tai Chi class. Every day, a little gentle challenge, a bit of patience. You will be surprised at your progress after a few weeks. Balance not only helps you avoid falls, it helps you walk more steadily through life, in both the literal and metaphorical sense. Your body still wants to move, and you deserve to feel steady, confident, and free with every step you take, no matter how old you are. Sign 2. Hand grip strength. Once, while participating in a health sharing session at a community center in Minnesota, I was introduced to Mr. Raymond, 79 years old, tall and with a kind face. When I shook his hand, the first thing I noticed was the strength of his grip. Not too strong to be uncomfortable, but firm enough for you to know that his body still had a good amount of vitality. I curiously asked, "Do you still exercise daily?" He just shrugged and smiled. "Not much, but every day I open a jar of pickled vegetables with my own hands." Grip strength, or more precisely, the power of a handshake, has long been viewed as an indicator of the overall health of elderly individuals. Large studies show that those with strong grip strength tend to have better muscle mass, stable blood circulation, and a more effective nervous system coordination. And notably, weak grip strength, even if just a small change, can signal the onset of bodily weakness, loss of independence, and a higher risk of mortality. I want you to imagine two women, both 75 years old. Ms. Linda still cooks, waters her plants, and opens jars easily every day. Meanwhile, Ms. Ruth has started to find it difficult to lift a full kettle or open a bottle cap. No one tells Ruth that these small tasks, if they become increasingly hard, could be a signal of overall muscle decline, not just in her hands. Grip strength is not just about the hands. It is a reflection of how much strength your body still possesses and how you are utilizing it. The good news is, you can absolutely regain that strength. You don't need to go to a gym. You just need a small rubber ball to squeeze while watching TV, or a small bag of rice to carry while walking around the yard, or simply choose to open a jam jar by yourself instead of handing it to someone else. If you notice that your grip is starting to weaken, don't see that as a natural part of aging. Consider it a reminder. Your body needs you to pay more attention. And the more proactive you are, the more your body will respond with stability, resilience, and independence. A firm handshake not only conveys confidence, but also serves as evidence that you are still in control of your own health. Sign 3. Walking speed. I still remember my first visit to the small town of Elmswood, famous for its forest trails and fresh atmosphere. That morning, I was invited by Mrs. Sylvia, 76 years old, a petite woman, to walk together. "Just a light stroll, okay?" she said. I quickly agreed, thinking it would be a leisurely morning. But within 10 minutes, I was breathless trying to keep up. Mrs. Sylvia maintained her pace, talking as she walked, as if her legs felt no weight at all. You might not notice, but the speed at which you walk every day says a lot about your cardiovascular, pulmonary, muscular health, and even your neurological well-being. Large studies from prestigious medical schools have shown that older adults who maintain a quick, steady walking pace tend to live longer, experience fewer chronic illnesses, and retain mental clarity for longer. Imagine two men, both 74 years old. Mr. Daniel walks every morning, briskly, with a straight posture, and can climb stairs without needing to hold on. Mr. Marvin, on the other hand, frequently has to stop after a few minutes of walking, sometimes needing to sit down, and avoid slopes because he feels his heart racing or his legs tiring. The two men are the same age, but their walking speeds indicate a significant difference in their internal health. Walking speed is not just how you move. It reflects your flexibility, muscle strength, heart health, and your body's ability to supply oxygen to all parts. A decrease in speed without a clear reason could be the first sign of diminished fitness, muscle loss, or circulatory disorders. If you notice that you are slowing down, no longer feeling light as you used to, don't consider it a mere inevitability of aging. The truth is, you can absolutely improve it, gradually, day by day. Start by walking every morning, just 5 to 10 minutes, maintaining a pace that feels comfortable yet slightly challenging. After a week, increase your time or your tempo. You might choose a route with a gentle incline or walk with a friend who has a slightly faster pace than yours. It's these small changes that will help your body adapt and strengthen day by day. Walking faster not only extends your lifespan but also helps you maintain your freedom of movement, something everyone treasures as they enter their 70s and beyond. And most importantly, you will feel that your body still possesses vitality, and you are still moving forward, not just in each step, but in the entire journey of living healthily and longevity. Sign 4. Sleep. One of the first questions I often ask when talking to healthy elderly people is, "Did you sleep well?" The answers always intrigue me, as the quality of sleep often reveals a lot about their overall health. I still remember Mr. Jerome, 81 years old, who once worked as a chef at a small hotel by Lake Michigan. Every night, he would go to bed before 10 p.m., did not bring his phone into the room, and got up right at 6 a.m. to make his favorite toast. When I asked about his secret to longevity, he simply said, "I don't let tomorrow's day fix what I haven't revived in today's sleep." It sounds simple, but sleep is the time when the body repairs, recovers, and regenerates itself. After the age of 70, sleep not only helps you feel awake in the morning, but is also closely related to memory, immune system function, blood pressure, mood, and the ability to prevent chronic diseases. However, many elderly people believe that difficulty sleeping or waking up several times during the night is inevitable. But in fact, if you often wake up feeling fatigued, with a foggy mind, or need to nap excessively to compensate, you are likely experiencing poor quality sleep, which indicates that your body is slowing down, not getting enough recovery time after each day. Imagine two 78-year-old women. Mrs. Nora goes to bed on time every night, has a habit of reading before sleeping, and doesn't use electronic devices after 9 p.m. She wakes up gently, without needing an alarm clock, and is always full of energy to stroll in the morning. In contrast, Mrs. Lillian frequently scrolls through her phone in the dark, tosses and turns until late, and has to use sleeping pills several times a week. When she wakes up, she feels sluggish, struggles to concentrate, and starts every day with a strong cup of coffee. The difference between them lies not only in the quality of sleep, but also in how they treat their bodies at night. There is increasing evidence that nighttime sleep directly affects longevity. Those who sleep well often have more stable blood pressure, better memory, and a lower risk of heart disease or Alzheimer's. If you are having trouble sleeping, don't overlook it. Start with small changes. Turn off the lights earlier, reduce blue light from screens, keep the bedroom cool and quiet, and most importantly, establish a fixed bedtime each night. Our bodies, regardless of age, thrive on regularity. Sleep is not a waste of time. It is the quiet foundation for everything you want to achieve on your journey to a healthy and long life. And when you give your body sufficient and deep sleep, it will return to you with alertness, stamina, and a sense of living fully each day. Sign of 5. Social relationships. One autumn Saturday, I visited Mrs. Irene, an 80-year-old woman living in a small house by the park. When I arrived, she was preparing cookies to bring to her dear friend who lived 3 houses away. "You've come at the right time," she said. "We're about to have a 3-person tea party. No one can miss it." I sat down and listened to the stories shared among these 3 elderly friends that have lasted over 40 years. They recounted the times they helped each other through losses, celebrated birthdays together, and even those days when they strolled simply to share a laugh. The atmosphere made me realize that the connection between people, whether through a phone call, an afternoon tea, or just a simple smile exchanged each day, can be as powerful as any medicine in maintaining mental and physical health. Modern studies have proven people with positive social relationships tend to live longer, suffer fewer illnesses, and most importantly, they feel that life is more meaningful. In contrast, loneliness, even though it remains unseen, is one of the silent factors increasing the risk of depression, memory loss, cardiovascular diseases, and even early death. I once met Mr. Sebastian, 79 years old, who lives alone after his wife passed away. He doesn't have children nearby, nor many friends because most have moved away or are no longer around. He shared that he still eats well and walks daily, but there are days that pass without talking to anyone. "You know," he said, "there are silent days so profound that even the ticking of the clock sounds like an echo." It's hard to recognize loneliness from the outside, as it leaves no visible scars on the skin. But internally, it silently slows the heart down, tires the brain, and gradually dims the spirit. If you notice yourself withdrawing, making fewer calls, chatting less, or no longer feeling excited about meeting someone, see that as an important signal. Not because you are weak, but because you are human. And humans are born to connect. Start with the simplest thing. Call an old friend. Invite someone for a walk. Join a painting class, a wellness class, or just sit on a park bench with a few neighbors. You don't need many relationships, just genuine ones. Friendship, family ties, and even random encounters are all the golden threads that weave the tapestry of happiness in old age. They keep you living longer and happier. For ultimately, what makes a life worth living is not just how many years we have, but how many times we get to share the simple joys of an ordinary day with someone. Sign 6. Memory and clarity. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to chat with Mr. Albert, an 84-year-old man living in a quiet rural area in Vermont. He lived alone in a small wooden house, surrounded by trees and books. I visited one rainy afternoon, when he was sitting by the window, playing the first few notes of Moonlight Sonata on an old piano. After the music stopped, he turned to me and asked, "Do you know, memory is something that doesn't naturally fade away. It just needs to be awakened every day, by something that makes us truly want to remember." That saying stuck with me, especially as more and more people believe that memory decline is a natural part of aging. But the truth is, clarity, like muscles, will weaken if not exercised. Yet if regularly activated, it can be sustained for a long time, even until the end of life. One common point I've noticed among older people who still maintain sharp thinking, clarity in speech, and solid reasoning is that they do not let their minds enter a state of retirement. Imagine Mrs. Esther, 77 years old, who plays Sudoku every morning, reads history books in the afternoon, and in the evening practices some Spanish phrases because she wants to converse with her Mexican son-in-law. Meanwhile, Mr. Brian, also the same age, spends most of his time in front of the TV, has little social interaction, and gradually begins to forget the names of old acquaintances or misplaces items in his home. The difference does not lie in genetic inheritance. It lies in how they treat their brains every day. Clarity is not an innate asset. It is the result of maintaining curiosity, exercising the mind, and engaging in life. Every time you learn something new, tell an old story, or solve a puzzle, that is when the neural connections in your brain are activated and strengthened. If you find yourself starting to forget people's names, struggling to find words to express yourself, or feeling less interested in lengthy conversations, don't be complacent. This is not just a sign of aging, but it may signal that you need to restart your brain. No one is too old to learn something new. An elderly man at 90 learning the violin, an 85-year-old woman starting to write her memoirs, these seemingly small acts are actually a natural remedy for the brain. Choose anything that excites you, a class, a brain game, a journaling habit. Don't let your mind fall silent. For when the mind remains alive, the world around you also expands. And that clarity not only helps you live longer, it also helps you live with true quality, enough alertness to remember, perceive, and fully love every moment that is passing by. Sign 7. Stress management. One winter afternoon, I met Mrs. Martha, 82 years old, sitting and knitting on a rocking chair in her small garden behind the house. Next to her was a steaming cup of herbal tea. When I asked her what she did to keep her spirit peaceful despite having gone through many upheavals, the loss of her husband, a mild stroke, and living alone in recent years, she simply smiled. Dear, life will always have its ups and downs. But how we react to them is what makes us age or grow stronger. I have never forgotten that saying. The older I get, the clearer it becomes that stress is not just a fleeting feeling. It is a silent force that accumulates over the years, and if we do not know how to resolve it, it can wear down both our body and mind. Many people think that stress only affects our mood. In reality, prolonged stress can lead to high blood pressure, digestive disorders, insomnia, weakened immunity, and increase the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, or depression. I once spoke with Mr. Lester, 75 years old, widowed for nearly a decade, living with his youngest daughter. Although he no longer had to worry about finances, he always felt uneasy. Even minor issues would cause him confusion. He recounted that sometimes, just losing his keys or his dog barking too much would keep him awake all night. Gradually, he became irritable, withdrawn, less inclined to go out, and his health visibly deteriorated. Stress in old age isn't loud, but it is persistent. It doesn't come from work pressure as it does in youth, but from nameless worries, fears of illness, loneliness, and losing one's identity. If we do not learn how to recognize and converse with those emotions, they will take away our peace. But like any other skill, managing stress is something that can be learned, no matter your age. Mrs. Martha told me, every morning, I spend 10 minutes simply breathing deeply, closing my eyes, and listening to the birds in the garden. I don't call it meditation, but a moment of silence for myself. I also write down 3 things I am grateful for before going to sleep, even if it's just a warm glass of water or a hug from my grandchild. It is precisely these small, repeated habits each day that lay a true foundation for lasting emotional stability. This could be taking a slow walk in the park, reading poetry in the afternoon, chatting with an old friend, or simply learning to let go of things beyond our control. Stress is unavoidable, but we can actively choose a way of life that does not let it take over us. When you learn to remain calm in the face of the unexpected, you not only live longer, but also live more lightly and meaningfully. Old age does not have to be filled with anxiety. It can be the most peaceful time if you learn to allow your mind to rest, even when life remains imperfect. Sign 8. Diet and weight. I still vividly remember grandmother Josephine, 86 years old, living in a coastal village in southern England. Every time I visited, she was always doing something in the kitchen, chopping carrots, cooking pumpkin soup, or prepping whole grain bread for the next day. Despite her age, she still moved nimbly, spoke clearly, and always had the energy to tend to her small vegetable garden behind the house. Once, when I asked, "Do you have any dietary restrictions?" she smiled, "No restrictions, just choosing to eat what truly nourishes me." That seemingly simple answer encapsulates the core idea. Diet, simple yet profoundly impactful on longevity and quality of life. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what we consume daily. A diet rich in vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats, and lean proteins not only helps maintain stable weight but also reduces inflammation, controls blood sugar, preserves muscle, and slows the aging process. Conversely, meals high in salt, sugar, and processed foods not only make you feel fatigued, gain weight, but also put stress on the liver, kidneys, heart, and brain, organs that naturally slow down with age. I once met Mr. Patrick, 72 years old, living in a small apartment in the city. In the past, he often consumed canned food and drank soft drinks to save time. However, after a health check showing elevated blood pressure, unstable cholesterol, and slight swelling of the knee, he decided to make a change. Within 3 months, with simple adjustments, cooking brown rice, adding greens, drinking more water, and cutting down on sugar, he lost nearly 5 kilograms, felt more breathable, and slept better each night. The wonderful thing is, you don't need to follow a strict diet. You just need to return to what is natural, less processed, and closest to the original foods. Instead of soda, choose plain water with a few slices of lemon. Instead of fried foods, try steaming, roasting, or lightly sautéing. Instead of eating in a rush, eat slowly, chew thoroughly, savor the flavors, and give your body time to thank you for it. Weight is not just a number on the scale. It is a sign of how your body is functioning. When you are lighter, your joints will feel better, your heart rate will stabilize, and your walk will be more confident. And if you need a goal, remember, just a 5 to 10% reduction in excess body weight can significantly decrease the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and joint pain. It is never too late to adjust what you eat. Every meal is an opportunity to heal, not just physically, but also mentally. Your body always wants to be healthy. Give it a chance with simple, consistent, loving choices every day. You just walked with me through 8 subtle yet important signs, those delicate indicators that show how healthy you are and how well you can live and thrive in the years to come. Perhaps, throughout this video, you've quietly nodded at some points, smiled as you realized you're doing well, or suddenly paused as you noticed you've overlooked a few small signs. Whatever it may be, the most beautiful part is that you are paying attention to yourself. And that is always the most valuable starting point. Age is not the end. It is a stage. It can be deeper, slower, but also more freeing and more fulfilling. And the small things you do today, from a steady walk, a healthy meal, to a deep sleep, or a call to an old friend, are each building the quality of your life in the future. I don't expect you to change everything in one day. I just hope you choose one thing, one of the 8 signs you feel you need to pay more attention to, and start from there. Perfection is not required, only persistence. Because life is not about how old you are, but how you live each day with how much love you give to yourself. If today you can stand a little longer, walk a little faster, sleep a little more deeply, or simply feel lighter after listening, then that is a step forward. And each step like that, repeated, will lead you to a healthier, more independent, and more fulfilling life in many years to come. And if you find this helpful, please leave me a comment. Share what resonates with you the most, or simply say, "I am ready to change." Those words not only motivate you but also inspire others who are watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can meet again in the next videos. Because in your journey to live healthily and longer, no one else, just you, is in the driver's seat. And I am here, ready to accompany you. Thank you for listening, sincerely. See you in the next sharing.